The tortoise first met the hare 5 years ago in the great forest on the sandy path. The tortoise saw the hare first from behind, but even such a short glimpse was enough to draw him onwards, on along the sandy path through the great forest. "What a bushy tail has that hare," thought the tortoise, little knowing that the hare had also glimpsed the former's slow progress. "What a heavy shell has the tortoise," thought the hare, wrinkling its pink nose. "But even so, there is something about that steady tread." In time, the tortoise came within shouting distance of the hare and called out, "Hello! Shall we walk together along the sandy path here in the great forest?" "But you are so slow," observed the hare. "How will you ever catch up to me?" "I am slow," admitted the tortoise, "though I could go a little faster. And if you slow down a bit, perhaps we could meet halfway." The hare thought this over. "That does not sound very safe, Tortoise, for the great forest is on fire behind you, and if I move any slower, I'll be consumed by the flames." The tortoise looked back over its shell and saw that, indeed, there was a great fire behind. "I can see how that might be a problem," allowed the terrapin. "Perhaps you should go on ahead, then, and if I am lucky enough, we will meet further on down the sandy path, where the great forest is no longer on fire." The hare was distraught by this, for it truly did wish to walk with the tortoise, but it was simply too dangerous, the risk too great. "I will go ahead and build a shelter where we can be safe. Come as quickly as you can and meet me there." The tortoise nodded, though secretly knew it could never hope to catch up before the fire came. Even so, it was determined to meet the hare once again. "I will do my best. I may be slow, but I always get the job done." And so the hare ran on ahead, and the tortoise plodded along behind. Soon, the fire came. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Unfortunately for them, their hill was not a hill, but rather a volcano. How they did not notice this on the way up is a matter of some debate, though most scholars agree that they were too lost in each other's company for the realization to set in. The top of a volcano is hardly a pleasant place to be, and yet there they were, nearly to the crater, covered in dark volcanic ash and witness to a rather violent eruption. "I think we may have taken the wrong path," said Jack, turning to Jill with concern in his eyes, "because generally we do not end up in the middle of a volcanic eruption when we set out to obtain water." "Yes," agreed Jill, because she could not think of any other response. They were, after all, in the path of a steadily approaching lava flow. "Maybe we should leave now." "A capital idea," conceded Jack, turning his eyes to the path they took to the summit. "The only problem being that our path seems to have been obscured by molten rock, which will no doubt impede our progress to some extent." "I can see how that might be the case," allowed Jill, also examining the roiling river of red-orange heat. "I guess we should wait until a new path opens, or until rescue arrives." Jack shook his head. "If we wait, we will be burned alive by that approaching flow," he explained. "We must jump for it now and simply hope for the best." "There is at present nowhere to land," observed Jill, quite logically. "We would fall into the lava and die. It is too great of a risk." "Some risks are worth taking," Jack shot back. "If we jump now, we can worry about where we'll land later." "Some risks are stupid and suicidal," returned Jill, "such as this one." The two frowned, and the lava approached. The end of the world found two countries at odds, not over the end itself or how it came about, but rather over what to do about it. "We should go into space," argued the Green Nation. "There we can find new planets, or build great stations upon which to survive." "We should go underground," countered the Grey Nation. "There we can weather the storms and the sundering, and emerge to rebuild when the world is reborn." "There is no way to be sure we would survive underground," noted the Green Nation. "The earthquakes could crush us. The mantle could rise up and engulf us. The atmosphere could become poison. There may be nothing left." "There is no way to be sure that we would survive in space," returned the Grey Nation. "The vacuum could decompress us. The radiation could wither us. There might be nowhere to go." "It is better to move forward, even if the destination is unknown," insisted the Green Nation.
To stay here is to stagnate and to repeat the past.
It is better to stick with what you know, contended the Grey Nation. There is less risk in moving underground, for we already know a great deal about mining. The apocalypse came on, uncaring of their spat. Long after the end of the world, the sun exploded. Mars and Venus both sought to escape the system before the nova could engulf them. Venus moved slowly, cautiously, trying to foresee every possibility of her future path, planning, organizing as the nova crept up on her. Mars moved swiftly, decisively, not caring where the future took him, sure that it would still be better. But he did not want to leave Venus behind. She was the only thing left of his system, and he did so enjoy her company.
Venus, please come with me. If you keep moving so slowly, the nova will destroy you, and then I will be alone.
But I'm scared of what I might find along the path, Mars, Venus replied. I don't know what the future will hold, and it could be dangerous. It could be hard. I might not like it. I have to prepare for anything. Mars was sad and a little embarrassed that he hadn't thought to plan ahead. He had simply assumed that everything would work out when he escaped the system. Even so, he knew that Venus was taking too long to prepare.
How about a compromise?
Ventured the red planet, so long identified with war and conflict. A what? Replied Venus, puzzled.
What if we both use our strengths to help each other? I move quickly and decisively while you think ahead and plan carefully. If we orbit each other, we'll be able to escape and be prepared for whatever the future holds.
Venus thought it over and nearly refused. To tie her orbit to another planet's? What if Mars failed to move quickly enough? What if Mars was going in the wrong direction? What if they started fighting every day? What if they hurt each other? But it was that or the nova, and she did so enjoy the company of Mars. The two planets danced together, streaking across the sky to parts unknown. Afraid, certainly, but ready for anything. The green-gray nation-ship wrenched itself free from the Earth's crumbling crust on the eve of apocalypse. Deep within the mines of the flying continent, the survivors were shielded from the deadly radiation, but safe from the predations of their planet's final hours. Jack and Jill waited, and the lava crept closer. But soon, Jill spotted a large rock floating down the river of magma. It would be safe, but it was moving so quickly and she couldn't calculate the jump in time, but Jack grabbed her and leapt. No one fell down, and no crowns were broken, though a few knees were scuffed along the way. The Tortoise, scarred and cracked by the hellish heat of the forest's great fire, limped up the sandy path towards the rough shelter built by the Hare. It collapsed along the path to the door, unable to come any farther after having come so far already. So close, yet to fail now. The Hare, at last, came to meet him halfway.